All right. So listen, let me just first formally introduce myself. My name is Keisha Glenn, and I'm a member of Alpha Lambda Zeta Fraternity Incorporated. And my name, frat name, is Absolute. So you're welcome to call me either one, whatever is comfortable for you. So the reason I contacted you or reached out to you, Kamir, is simply because we are a masculine-centered fraternity or organization, and at some point, within our organization, we've had members who present themselves in a masculine way and carry themselves appropriately or in the world, and they have transitioned to male. And
Yes,
then we also have people who have also expressed interest in our organization. So in a realm of educating not just the masculine centered community, the LGBT community, but the world as a whole, there has to be a place where we have understanding, we have a level of respect, and so
yes,
that was the purposes or the intention of having the interview, so that we can bring awareness to the trans community, but also have a level of education. And I felt like you would be a great person that I could speak to,
yes,
having watched your platform and understand how transparent you are and how you've kind of navigated this journey to me.
yes,
It seems kind of effortless, but I'm sure for you and that you'll share has been some challenges and some things that you face that you may not have expected even before. So
yes,
I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
yes.
And tell us who you are, what things you've got going on, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the questions.
Okay, I appreciate you. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very honored. I'm a very humble guy. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that my platform is reaching the community. Love to hear that. That's very affirming for me. Appreciate you, Absolute. I'm gonna definitely call you Absolute. I
Thank
respect it.
you.
I am Kamir Talley. Trans man, 2 years transitioning. Originally from New Jersey, but I'm living in Vegas now. My lady, has been a beautiful experience for me. We have she has a child, and her child looks at me as her stepdad. So me taking on a role of fatherhood, on top of being a trans man, has been it's been beautiful. Because I'm affirmed within my family for the man that I am. And to be honest, whenever you physically go through a transition, it can be hard. Going from one stage of your life, from being many years of, to now have a new life as a man is hard within itself. And I would say that it starts with mentally transitioning. You have to
Okay.
check your mentally as well as physically. I have my days where I'm 100%. I have my days where I'm 60. I'm still actively waiting for my beard to come in and other stuff to happen too. But I had to realize that I am enough who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
10, 5, 6 years down the line, Kamir is a man now, and that's enough man for me. And so I had to learn how to differentiate those things within myself and knowing even what a man looks like. We don't talk about the emotional intelligence of a man. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I always will have respect, even being a former stud, for my masculine of centers who are studs, because at the end of the day, I used to be a stud before I became a man. So I would never downplay or disrespect the masculinity, because
Hmm.
that's very present in myself, that I identified with, that now that because I'm physically in my manhood, I was my masculine before I even got here as a stud. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
really just became the inner version of myself outwardly. You know what I'm saying? That's how I've been able to associate being a trans man in this world. It doesn't start when you have the beard. It doesn't start when your voice drops. It starts when you look at yourself for the masculinity that you have and say, okay, no, I'm a man here. Right here, right? That's day one on transition or whatever the case may be. And then once you get the surgery and stuff like that, you might feel more firm. But it
Hmm.
starts with the mind, it starts with the soul, it starts with the spirit. And so I built that platform on my Instagram with that. You can follow me on my Instagram _King Kamir too. Those of you listening, I'm an author. I've written a plethora of books with poetry, and poetry for me has been healing. It's been helpful because I've learned how to navigate my emotions by writing. And as I was sharing with you, I have an awesome project coming with the book called The Man in Me.
Yeah,
It's
talk about it.
for the the trans community, and not just the trans community but the masculine centers too, because there are my guys out there who may not want to take on hormones and surgeries but still feel affirmed as a man. So that this what I'm saying is for that too. I want to reach the whole masculine within itself of centers, not just trans men too. So that's that piece of writing that's coming soon. And maybe throughout the interview I'll be able to drop a line or a piece from that, one of my favorite pieces. But that's me, man. I have my shirt line. This is one of my shirts now. It's called I'm the Man. I have some hats, hoodies. You can check out on my Instagram and my link in bio. You'll see my online store. So check me out. And I'm King
Okay.
Kamir. Follow me on Instagram. But yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So I appreciate you sharing all that. We're going to tag you in our social media posts so that people can find you a lot easier. But if you
Yes.
want to type it in on your phone, that's fine too.
Yes.
What the first question I got that I want to ask is, and it kind of segues into what we've been discussing.
Yes.
How would you describe or explain how to navigate the identity as a trans man as it relates to masculinity in certain aspects that you have experienced thus far?
Yes. Okay. So with me, first of all, let's start with the transition itself. Even before I started, going into taking the test, let's start with the reason, and then we'll
Okay.
talk about. So I used to be a very attractive woman. Like the features was like it was pristine. I'm not being boastful. I'm just being real. Within myself, I never resonated with how my face looked though. I personally felt that my face was just too pretty, And I've got another friend who he identified with what I'm saying, and that's why he transitioned. He felt as if he was a man, even being the presentation of having a very feminine face. His barrier was that he did not connect with that face that he had, and that was me. I didn't
Okay.
connect with. For me, it was uncomfortable because I had all of this masculinity. I have large hands. I set my legs all the time. Like none of what I carried or represented, to me, resonated with womanhood. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
so my challenge was okay. At the time, I didn't know how to bridge the gap with that. I didn't like, I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm a masculine center, always been. I never liked breastplay. I never allowed for my lady partners to, penetrate me. None of those things were for me satisfying. I was always the dominant, the man, And so for me, it took me time because I really started transitioning when I was 27, and I waited that time. It's not a too long of a time, but I would have done it sooner had I had the confidence. I feel that me coming from a Christian background, it kind of put me in a box where I was
Mm-hmm.
afraid to really step out to who I really was. Like I really was afraid. I'm like, man, like I can't be all of myself because they preaching against it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, how does God really feel about me? Does God really approve of me? I used to preach. I literally fought this inner conflict within myself because I didn't know how to be me. And
Mm.
tough for me. I used to pray like, okay, God, like, pray the gay out of me if it's bad, then God, but it never left. And when I realized it never left, I realized, okay, well, that part of me that was just who I am. I don't have to ask God to take anything away from me because it was me. You know
And
what I'm
you ain't
saying?
never.
Right. And so the first part, because it was like two coming out for me. If the first part was understanding, okay, I'm different. And then me going into knowing I was a trans man, I would see a man in my mind, literally. I would see the end of the transition. Like when I tell you I know how it was going to pan out for me, it's because I seen the vision of it. So like I had this reading done one day, and I went from being a pastor to being more spiritual now. So I'm more in tune with the ancestors and stuff now. But
Okay.
and that I had a reading done on November the 11th, the 9th. That was my anniversary. I just celebrated 2 years on Thursday. But I said to the psychic, I said, "Was I a man in my past life?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Wait a minute. Was I a king?" Because I refer to myself as king. And because the energy that I give and I exude, she said, "Yeah, you were definitely a king as well." I said, "Okay, it makes sense." And I had to realize that, okay, I understand there are certain things that we're taught within a construct of religion to keep you in a box, literally. And so I had to take myself out of that box. When I became spiritual, I said, you know what? This is not a mystery to God. God knew this about me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to walk in condemnation and guilt because this is me. You understand that? So once I started realizing, okay, God approves of this because it was my purpose. Then I started tying into the fact that, wait a minute, if I was a man in a past life, could it be that people who identify as trans men and stuff like that, trans women, had that been our past? And that's why we know that in this lifetime, and we
Hmm.
connect because that was our past self, but we understood who we were. And that's my best explanation. Like they say that trans people, we're spiritual because we really walk in the truth of knowing this was my former self. So if anything, I didn't lose myself, I became myself. You know what I'm
Ah,
saying?
beautiful.
Came through the rebirth process. So that's how pretty much, I got into becoming okay with being a trans man. So, I'm not gonna lie, when I being in this space as a man, you have to watch what you do. You can't be as aggressive. You have to watch your temper. You have to understand that unfortunately, being a black man in America, you're a target. Anything you do is a target, so those are still nuances for me. I'm a
Mm.
very masculine man. So, if I go to a strip club, I can't be as just wild with, getting a lap dance. I have to, okay, I gotta respect boundaries, you know what I'm saying? So there's so much that I'm learning just from being a man, but really evolving into that man. You know what I'm saying? In this new skin. I'm aware, I'm hyper aware of my actions, my reactions. I've never been like the type that is abusive towards my women, but you can't do certain things because you will go in jail, and it will put you in men's jail, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you identify as a male. So at the end of the day, you have to learn, okay, what does manhood look like? What does healthy manhood look like? What does it look like to be, that masculine center, but still letting people feel safe around your energy because you don't want to be, the type of man that's domineering to the point is where people are afraid to speak up. Where your woman's she's timid. Oh, I can't say anything because you're this alpha mountain man. No, it's okay to be soft. It's okay to be gentle. With yourself, with your lady. With your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because
mhm,
that's what manhood looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I come from a family where, my mother and my father never married, but I've always watched my father, he was a man. And you know what that looks like. I'm gonna deal with this one, I'm gonna deal with that one. And watching that can make you feel like, okay, I need to deal with multiple women. But that's not the reality. All you need is one. One woman that sees you, one woman that respects you, one woman that affirms you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to look for 50 million females to satisfy that. All you need is one, to bring
absolutely.
the best in you. So there's so much I'm really learning and continuing to learn as a man. My patience with our child. I got to be patient with her. She a little girl. Said I can't go get. Nah, I'm okay. I understand. You got your emotions. You got your mood. I got to be so gentle, with everybody while still speaking up for my own mental health. Because
Right.
there's times where you can be hyper aware. Okay, somebody will know that I'm trans because they know that, I'm a trans man. That's another avenue that can be scary. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta defend yourself. Like I am a owner of a weapon, but that's for my safety. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
I don't just use it to intimidate. I use it for safety. I hadn't had to use it because I don't have those problems. But there's the space that you now become in. You have to be alert. You need to have trans male and not just trans male, but masculine of center type of organizations where you can speak to people about your transition. Okay, how you feeling transitioning? Okay, man, I'm still waiting on my beard to come in, or excuse me, I'm still waiting on my mustache to come in. Whatever it may be, you need to have that type of friendship with other people who see you. You know,
Absolutely.
excuse me, I'm just
You
going
okay?
here. But yeah, you have to have that type of friendship in that capacity with people who see you. I got a friend, and he's another trans man, and he told me that like his lady, she's straight. I date straight women.
Okay.
I date straight women. He told me that like with his partner, she got mad at him because he's always at like trans events or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, but you're a black trans man. Black trans man. We were not born as a cis man. We need to be in type of spaces with guys who look like us. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah.
masks. who understand, okay, transition, who understand the day to day, who understand the community. I feel like myself, like I don't have any bad blood towards cis men, but sometimes cis men can be brutal towards trans men. You know what I'm saying? They can
Sure.
be more hating towards us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, yeah, that's not a real man. Whatever. You know, they have the stereotypes that they feel against us. Not all of them, but some of them. That can
Hmm.
be to fight for a space that really doesn't approve of you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that the need for organizations like yours with masculine centers and trans men is very crucial because we need that connection. We need to be able to break bread amongst each other and still respect each other. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I really feel personally too, like as a trans man to, studs, respect the masculinity in that stud. You know what I'm saying? Don't downplay it. Don't, because you once were a stud too. I don't understand how people who transition can, especially trans men, can look at, studs and just like have a disgust or a hatred. You can't do that because that used to be you. You know what I'm saying?
Where do you
And
think that comes from, though?
honestly, it has to come from hate. Maybe
Okay.
there's of hate going on, because there's some people who they're mad that they were born into this life, a woman previously. It's nothing you can do though, like that. What it is. It's an amazing transition to be able to go from one end of the spectrum to another, but you can't get mad at what you started off as, because there's things I appreciate about being a former woman, like my emotion, like my emotional intelligence. I got that from being a stud. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I relate to a woman better than a cis man because of that. Sexually, I know how to please my woman because of what I used to be. So there are things I appreciate from being a stud. I do, so I would never downplay or look at a stud like, nah, no, I'm gonna respect your masculinity. I feel that, more studs need to, respect trans men's pronouns, definitely. I feel like that should be
Yeah.
something that we have, respect him. He's taking a full transition. He wants to be called, he respect that. We need to have respect for each other. It shouldn't be hatred or strife or bitterness. It should be love for real.
Absolutely, I believe, and that is perfectly said. And I will say that recently I've heard that there was some beef between the masculine centered women and trans men, and
Yeah.
I was really taken back by that. Only maybe because perhaps in my world or my little community, that's not been my experience. Right? If I'm aware of a person that is transition, then as long as they share their pronouns, I'm very comfortable with acknowledging that. With that being said, with the social or our society perceptions, what changes or improvements would you say or recommend that individuals like myself or my organization, what would you like to see represented in media today?
I would like to see in media, honestly, I want to see more roles on film with studs and trans men, because I feel like I saw the study. It said it's an increasingly large rate of people who are non-binary now in
Okay.
today's generation, trans, or just masculine centers more. You see that more in our society. I feel like the biggest consumers of media are the Black community, specifically LGBT. So I think that there needs to be more representation and visibility within modeling and acting and stuff like that, of seeing trans and masculine centers and non-binary people, because again, that's what makes up our society. You know what I'm saying? I think that
Absolutely.
I model too. I work with a company for print modeling. I just started, so I'm going to be getting some campaigns soon. I'm so
That's
excited
dope.
to bring visibility, because I'm all about visibility. I don't care about how well I look like I've transitioned. I want somebody to know what you can be in this life. I want people to know when I lift my shirt up and you see my scores, that's a trans brother right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not proud. I mean, I'm proud of my scores. I'm not like at the point where I'm disgusted. I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Those are
Right.
my armors, my badges of armor. That's something that another brother can relate to me. He can say, "Oh, wait, bro, I got them same scores." He might have his whole beard and everything like that, but when it comes to lift up the chest, he can see my scores and yo, I relate to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody who's wanting to transition and they see my face somewhere and be like, yo, look at him. Look what I can be.
Yeah.
I don't have to live this life unhappy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There's people that look like me, Black people that look like me. you know what I'm saying, in these spaces. And so that's what I want to see, you know, more representation in media, you know what I'm saying, in movies and shows, modeling. I want to see more organizations like yours, you know, that offer that space for masculinity, trans men, you know, studs, people who can relate to each other. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to see that for real. Yeah,
Absolutely. I would 100% agree. I would also echo that representation matters, right?
yeah,
I can say for myself, even growing up, there was very few roles, movies, programs where I saw another masculine centered person. So if
yeah,
I cannot identify or see myself as someone else, what I'm left with a whole bunch of questions. I'm
yeah,
wondering, I have no idea how to navigate spaces.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that leads me to my next question. Right now, how would you imagine? People certainly may not understand the whole process, right?
Yes.
In terms of your transition, what is important for you to bring awareness to others like myself and everyone else in terms of what misconceptions are or what is misunderstood? What would you say that is?
Okay, that's a very good question. Let's see. I'm a man of intention, so I want to think about it.
Okay.
See what I want to take. Um, a misconception I've been hearing is, and this may be true for some people, but they say that people transition, you know, for the look of it. You know what I'm saying? And
Ah,
I don't think that may have some truth, but it has some falses too, because there are people in this world who, like I said, you may have been born a very beautiful woman, but you don't resonate with that. You don't resonate with having breasts, and that's okay. You know, you don't resonate with your genitals, and that's okay. But for me, like in those spaces, you need to know that you can transition. It's safe to do so. I feel like some people think that people just transition, you know, because oh, it's a trend. I just want to do it because I see this person doing it. That may be true for some people, but for people who truly have gender dysphoria, which literally means that you do not feel safe in the gender that you were born in. That's typically by definition what it means. If
right.
I'm one then yes, it's safe for me to transition. And no, you shouldn't tell me I'm doing it because it's a trend. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm doing it because I saw somebody else do it. Really, that person inspired me to do it, and that's why I did it. And I feel a lot of times people they say that you hear it. Huge misconception. People just doing it now because no, people have their reasons to doing it, and people have their reasons that they shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it if you just want to get another look. That's not okay. Or I just want to know if you really have a purpose. I don't connect with my breasts. I don't really connect with my genitals. I want to have a more masculine, because you can have bottom surgery. I have a penis now. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do things to make yourself feel affirmed and confident. If you look in the mirror and you see a man, become that man. Do that.
Absolutely.
Don't stop yourself from doing that. You know what I'm saying? But do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because the next person is, saying, hey, I think no. It has to be natural. It has to be organic. It has to come from your soul. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to look in that mirror and see, no, I see through this and I see a man, and know that it's safe to be that man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I think that there's a lot of people that are probably asking themselves, do I belong in this body, or what does my future look like? Can I give myself permission to
Yeah.
transition? As we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, I grew up in a church household, and as a kid, I did not necessarily see myself living at a place where I can live my authentic life. Right?
Mm,
That's not a comparison to your transition. Right? I don't want to I want to be clear with that. But we have to have uh, relationships and people and things that we see that we know this is possible. And so I
yes.
appreciate you again being so
Yes.
transparent with us now and being so transparent on your platform.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that leads me into my next question, right? Uh,
Yes.
and this, I want you to think about this as well. I strongly believe that there's a little person inside all of us, right? So what would you say to the little Kamir, right? Who, as you stated, doesn't necessarily resonate with your body parts. And as you've developed, as a young person, a teenager, this is just not matching for me.
Yes.
What advice would you give little Kamir to assure him that he can be successful where you are right now?
I would say that's a beautiful statement what you just said, because um I look at transition being spiritual, and you are definitely little people amongst the way. You know, where I saw where I'm in before I got here. What is it now? A year now? A year ago, I had to see my future self.
Mm.
Tell my future self, keep going. So if I was my little self now, I would say start. Don't listen to what anybody has to say. Don't listen to what the church got to say. Don't listen to what the pastor got to say. Don't even listen to what your parents might say about you. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, and it's going to turn out amazing because all things work out in the end. You know, you just have to step out and do that. So I would definitely tell myself to go. I would even push myself at
Okay.
that. Just step into your whole truth because it was so. This was meant. You know what I'm saying? It was literally meant to be. So, you know, if I would have, like I said, if I would been able to start sooner, I would have. I really would have had I had the confidence I had today. But it's okay because I've learned how to have this confidence. You know, I saw something today with Morgan Freeman, and it says that when people go to pray for confidence, God will put you in a situation to make you confident. So transitioning is not a walk in the park. Again, I have my ups and downs. Unfortunately, I get misgendered sometimes. It happens, but I
Uh-huh.
learn how to still stay confident. I learn how to still, even if somebody want to be disrespectful, ignorant, if they don't want to, if they don't even know what transgender is, they want to, call me a female. I'm so confident, and I'm learning to develop this confidence that it don't even bother me. It don't even hurt me because at the end of the day, it's me. It's my transition. I have to be satisfied. I have to be confident. I have to love myself. So I'm learning that people's opinions or their feedback, it's really not wanted. It's not even needed. You know what I'm saying? It matter. It does not matter. You be true to you at any step. Even I would tell even a feminine woman who wants to be a stud, be you. It's okay. Because we know that femmes, they turn into studs. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. And you have so much more masculinity than cis men. Let's be honest. I have a straight woman, and she told me, she said, listen, and this is the honest to God truth. Before I got my penis I have now, on testosterone, you do grow a T dick, which we refer to it as. And she told me I was discouraged because she's a straight woman. I'm like, yo, when I was a stud, that was a no for me. I never liked straight women because I don't know if you're really going to be invested in me, because
Ah.
I wasn't in my manhood. So I'm like, okay, you might just go for another guy. She said to me, she said, and this was me a year ago on testosterone. I wasn't as where I'm in now, but I've grown from here to then. She said to me, do you think that I'm gonna stop dealing with you because of a dick? She said that doesn't do it for me. She said women don't even like huge dicks like that. She said to me, and she really made me feel confident and comfortable with that because again, she's a straight woman, and I'm new. She's never dealt with a trans man or stud or anybody from the community. So for her to embrace me like I was, she's like, yo, I respect you. And women don't even like that. She said, like, the way that I like to be pleased is mentally, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I like to be, and I said, okay, she made me feel confident. She let me know it was safe to be me. And I realized that, you don't need that to stand in masculinity. You don't, you know what I'm saying? And I've also learned that, some of these females, they love the masculine energy. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
like that's why they like trans men. You don't necessarily. It's never a competition between masculine center, trans men, and cis men. It's not because we bring another level of intimacy to the table. We bring another level of understanding to the table. You know what I'm saying? We are so dynamic with the energies that we exude that it's perfect, just the way we are. We don't have to try to fit into their box of what a man looks like because let's be honest, we see very effeminate men. You know what I'm saying? And it don't need to be that. You need to be you in whatever area that looks like and be confident, be assertive. Confidence is king. You know what I'm saying? Being
I,
true king. And that's what I'm learning. I don't have to be this alpha male because I give that energy naturally. I always did when I was a stud. So I'm learning as I continue to evolve in this new space and this new skin as a man now. It's graceful. It's easy. You know what I'm saying? It's
mm-hmm.
not. It's not like this anxiety to do that. Just be. Just walk in it. Just evolve in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Right.
that's the advice to someone who may be trans watching. Don't try. Just be yourself. And if somebody is receptive enough to understand you for you, to love you for you, let that be. You know what I'm saying?
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. This is
Yeah.
my last question, and then I'll leave the floor to you because I know there's some things that you would like to share. My
Yes, yes.
last question is: we both understand that advocacy it plays a very crucial role in the LGBT community in itself, right? So just
Yes.
raising awareness and fostering those kinds of relationships is always important. Are there any specific causes or issues that are related to the trans community that you feel passionate about that you would like to share with us?
Yes, I definitely am not happy about the violence that takes place towards trans men and trans women. It's very oppressing to see that. The fact that we can live in a world, because outside of our community, we get each other because we're in the community, LGBT. We don't, but sometimes there is hatred within the community, which is not okay because we
Right.
cannot be like that. When we already are targeted, the worst thing to do is oppress each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not okay. But for us to live in a world where people literally they hate us for being us, they hate that we can be proud to be gay and trans. That bothers them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think that the fact that this world could exude that type of hate is sickening to me. I definitely want to see more love in the world. I definitely, I send my condolences to the trans men and women who's lost their lives based on being themselves. That is never okay. That is never acceptable. Even with what's going on in the state of the world today, you have certain states that's even stopping the laws for transitions, taking away
Mhm.
rights, our hormones and stuff like that. So we're really being put in a position of they're trying to push us out into where they mask our existence, but we can't do that. We got to continue to stand proud and loud and be us and know that my existence is not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not, a pedophile. I'm not anything like that. I'm just a man being me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is definitely ugly, and I want to see that change. I want to see the world be more loving and caring because at the end of the day, the universal law is love. That's the currency. That's the energy. It's love. It's not
Yeah.
hate. It's not division. It's love. And I want to share with you. There is a group of people in the Caribbeans. I'm going to get the exact name for you. I believe it's Guavos or Guefos or something. But at a certain age, they transition from women to men naturally.
Oh
So
wow.
when people talk about is trans, listen, you go study that. You go do the information on that for yourself. They're a Caribbean group again, and at the age of 6 or whenever they reach puberty, they transition. Some of the females transition into men, and that is what happens in that specific country. So just knowing, I want people to know that transitioning has been happening for a very long time. It's even natural because that is a very natural occurrence in which it has happened in. It's not demonic. It's not evil. We really feel this way about ourselves. We see a man in ourselves, just like being gay. It's not a sin. That's how we feel. That's it. And people have to understand that apart from me being a trans man, I'm a straight man. I'm a father figure. I'm a soon to be husband soon because I want to marry my lady. Definitely, she's an amazing woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm a teacher. I'm a leader. There's so much to me besides being a trans man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's just not all that I am. And just for my studs and my stud bros, like you're not just a masculine center, you're a dynamic person. You know what I'm saying? We can't just let these titles speak for us because we are beyond the title. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I'm so much more than a title. That just happens to be my how I present myself as a trans man, but I'm so much more than that. And I'm not just my title. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Man, listen, I love the space that you're in. I love the confidence that you have.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day. I know you're busy
Yeah.
and sharing with us your transition, where
Yeah.
you are in life, how you arrived there, and being so transparent again on your platform. Now, there were
Yes.
some things that you wanted to share with me. I know you got a book coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now listen, I'm
Go
gonna
ahead
get.
and read a passage for us if you don't mind.
Yes, I will. Absolutely. I appreciate you. So this one piece I think will be very, very, very just powerful. And this piece, let me find it. Let me locate it. Is let me see. Transitioning is a trip. I gotta find that. Okay. Transitioning is a trip. This comes from my book, of poetry entitled "The Man in Me" for my trans bros, and it's my master and the centers out there, man. I wanted something to be inspirational, encouraging. I love to build literacy with reading, so I love writing and poetry. I actually am an English major too, so yeah, that's another
Let's
thing.
go.
This piece called "Transitioning is a Trip," and it goes like this. If I could compare transitioning to something, I would say that sometimes the ride is just as beautiful as the destination. You see your growth in a matter of time, but even that takes time. I'm learning that this thing's all about time, and you won't ever be at peace until you master your mind. Speaking of peace, there's times I rip myself down to pieces. The insecurities in my mind never ceases. I got this love-hate relationship with time. I want to be where I see in my mind, but truth is that realistically takes time. I know that things will get better with time, and just because I see the end of the road, what if down the line another insecurity comes to mind? Honestly, I'm taking the trip with me. The trip's in me. The trip's on me. And I won't appreciate the ride if I don't embrace the marathon. I had to face the fact that this is not a race because I go at my own pace. This ride is taking me places. I just have to embrace the scenery and believe in what I see in me. I can be excited, but I have to master my anticipation because the ride is just as beautiful as the final destination. And that right there comes from my book, The Man in Me. And that piece is very crucial because this is not a type of thing where I'm gonna wake up one day and just have all the things I desire to see. It takes time. Anybody
Absolutely.
take this transition, please listen to me. It's not easy. You'll have your days. It gets hard. You get frustrated with yourself sometimes because you want to, like I said, my biggest battle is my beard, but it doesn't stop me because I'm still a man. It doesn't take away from my manhood. I still have my emotional intelligence. I still have my deep voice. I still have my presentation. I still have my confidence. I have to look at what I do have and not focus on what's not there yet. So you have to measure a transition with knowing that it gets better with time. And it's okay to be in the space you're currently at because it will improve. You won't always be there because things get better. So, that's just my message for the day, man. Love you. Be proud of you. Know that you are the man. Again, check out my brand. Check out the link in bio. I'm gonna share that with you guys. Check
Absolutely.
coming soon. Know that it's nothing you can't be. And thank you for listening to me. I am King
Oh,
Kamir.
absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Listen,
Uh,
please stay connected to us.
yeah,
Again, we're going to stream these on our social media platforms. We are going to definitely tag you.
yeah.
How can we contact you or reach you on social media platforms?
Yes, yes. So on Instagram, I am _ King Kamir. On my TikTok is Vibes Online Buys now because I've merged it with my online store. But if you go to my Instagram, the link in bio, you'll be able to populate all of my other type of my online site for my books, my online site for my shirts, my other social medias. I have a YouTube called Keep It at 1K. And on there, I share how you can get transitional surgeries off of insurance and stuff like that. Very informative channel I'm going to be adding to, but yeah, _ King Kamir on Instagram. Tap in and thanks for rocking with the boys for real. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it too, man. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Kamir. You have a
thank
blessed day and enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
you. You too. God bless, man.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right now.